They say eyes are the windows to the soul, but what if they're the windows to something more sinister? In the heart of a bustling city, nestled in a forgotten corner of an old building, stood a lone mud wall. For years it had stood silently, bearing witness to the joys and sorrows of those who lived and worked in the building. As she sat up in bed, her heart pounding in her chest, she turned to the window and gasped. The mud wall outside was watching her, or rather, it seemed to be. As she stared in disbelief, she saw the wall begin to crack and shift. And then, most terrifying of all, she saw a pair of eyeballs blinking back at her from the depths of the cracked clay. But for the woman who lived in the apartment behind the wall, it became a source of terror. She just stared back in horror as the eyes seemed to stare back at her, unblinking and emotionless. Then, as suddenly as they appeared, they vanished. The wall settled back into its former position, and the only evidence of what she had seen were the fine cracks that had appeared on the surface. One day, she awoke in the middle of the night to the sound of her own scream. But as the days that followed, the eyes began to appear more frequently, always watching, never blinking. And then one day, she heard a whisper. It was her name, barely audible, like the voice of someone who was very far away. Some say her soul is trapped within the wall, doomed to wander for eternity. Others say she was taken by the very thing that had been watching her all along. But one thing is certain, the eyes in the wall are never to be trusted. But it was clear that the voice was coming from the wall. At first, their appearance was so shocking that she couldn't move or speak. Again and again, until it was nothing but a pile of rubble. And then, as the dust settled, she saw it, a long, slimy tongue that flicked in and out between the stones, and then, just like that, it was gone. Shaken to her core, she tried to convince herself that what she had seen was nothing more than a trick of the light. Driven to the edge, she grabbed a nearby hammer and brought it down on the wall. That night, she vanished into the latrine, never to be seen again.